Thank you, Bengus, for the 25 to the cause. I don't know why I said to the cause. Thank you, Bengus. Hydrate and stretch. I will do that too. And thank you again, Sith. How far are we away from the next one? Oh my gosh, y'all are jumping today with goals. Next one's 600. I do need to change. Which is Resident Evil Village playthrough is at 600. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, we're back. We restarted. Hopefully more Twitch notifications went out this time. We'll finish watching this video. I just nommed down my little rap. Awesome! So welcome back. Thank you so much for the donations, everybody. That was crazy. Almost $5.50 for charity already on the second day. Y'all are insane. Amazing. Oh, triple repeat. Awesome. Let me type in chat if stream.
Got you.
There we go. Oof. What is that? It's a beer. Looks like beer. Oh, ugh. He's not paying attention to where that's going at all.
What's up here?
He did not stop where he wanted to stop at all. Just grab the tree. Grab. Oh no, he's fallen. Squirrel.
Wife is
And
out
that
there
squirrel had a
paddleboarding. We got blow-up
vendetta with
paddleboards.
that camera.
Really nice. Amazon. Oh.
Oh, did that smack his face? God tell.
Yeah.
Smack. Oh, it's just smack the guy? What the heck?
Go! Y'all weren't supposed to slide.
Oh!
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so
She's just standing there with the door open. Oof. Oh, double collision. Double crash. Whee! Oh!
You okay? You alright?
He's got all the splinters right now. Bruh! Bruh!
That's really.
Don't eat that.
Good.
He's fine? Alright. Oh, there's some scrapes in your jeans, bro. Woo!
I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I don't. He's not like walking or moving anywhere. Oh, there. He's kind of moving. I mean.
Whoa! He got friends. He brought friends. What the heck? Ooh. Man, I've done stuff like that. I've definitely done stuff like that. I hate to say it, but it's true. Broke? Oh my. You have to pay for those? I don't know. Some places you have to pay if you break something by accident. Other places you don't.
You alright?
Oh. Through the legs, through the arms. And that's powdery. That's really No! Damn, that's gone. That is gone. What do you do at that point? Oh, yeah. You just walk down there and try to find it? That was close. That was too close, man. Oh, tease a wild animal. He's gonna grab your chicken. Yeah, he's gonna grab the thing you're not teasing him with that stings
ginger,
still.
lemon, and spring water. Not much though.
Yeah. In the wheelchair or no.
That's very yum. That sounds very yum. 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 Tell it's super strong. It's gonna break. Or not. Wait, it did break. The handle broke. I always think the bottom's gonna break. Whoa. Natural gas. Snowball. Oof.
So we're currently at Mattress Firm looking for a new bed.
I think they found the right bed. I think that's the one. I think that's the one, guys. Ah, push. Drenched. Wrenched.
Wow, she's standing all the way back up.
What a good member of the community. Such a good member of the community right there. Whoa! Did you see? Hold on. Wait. Did you see his ankle? How do I pause on that? Do you see this angle? What the hell is this angle? Why can... How can you do that? How do we do that? And it's just fine. Because I'm sure I've definitely done that, but I'm fine, you know? Always practice joint mobility. I used to be able to do that. Like I tripped on like on the part of a hill, and my ankle should have broken. This is like when I was young. But
it looks very silly because you don't know there's
how do
ice
you,
underneath.
how do you practice joint mobility? Hi, Kawaii. What do you call an elephant that doesn't matter? Irrelevant. Of course. Thank you for the button. Got a like. Alright, Sid, thank you again for the donation. I appreciate it so much. It's the chat for the donations. My pleasure. Thank you for being here and
What
liking.
did you just say?
I said that this right here is all I need in my life. and you.
and you. Gone to head.
I know. I didn't bring you any bread. Hey!
How dare you not bring bread. Why would you point that at anyone, ever?
I didn't know it was going to shoot up like that. Judy peed on herself.
She's all wet plus. Freaking. Probably bruise from the cork. Did that go in her, on her? Oh, and yep, that one definitely went on her butt. Ah.
Laters. Bye.
Oh, whoa. Ooh, I think she needed to be cut off a few lines ago. Just a few.
Happy birthday.
Don't drop it. Oh, I called it.
It's on video.
Have a lovely, lovely Christmas, and I hope you enjoy your presents.
Yeah.
There's a filter on his face. Is there a filter on his face?
Yeah. Sick man. Yeah. Yeah.
This doesn't look proportionate. They're playing in the pool. Explosion. Whoa. Hi, bear.
2, 1.
Little bear IRL? Question mark. And now he falls. Yep. Oh, dang. He stood though. Nice. Watch out, girls. Not a good idea. That's gonna hurt, bro. Oh.
Mama!
Did it get worse? Smooth. Damn! He's so smooth. He's sliding. Oh, never mind. He was sliding into those DMs until that other guy got there. Oof.
Take
What,
a wish, guys. Take a deep breath.
Oh, gross! Ew. What?
it's gonna go like that.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. Whoa. Uh-oh. Somebody put that on cyclonomatic level spin. Ooh.
Oh my f***ing god. What
Did they not put the lid on the blender? They didn't put the lid on the blender. Oh, why would you do that? Oh man. Should have just paid the guy to cut the tree down at that point.
We're ready.
Oh gosh. Oof. Oh! Ow. What the hell? He groping her at the end too. Wait, did they hit? Did they actually hit the other person though? Fake snake. It's a fake snake. Nice. Oh! Bruh! Father, hello? What the hell is that? Forgot he had his kid attached.
I'm Dave. She didn't even know what to say.
Not have here. Jason.
Молодец! Ура! Сюда! Лови его!
Damn. Got one hole and in the other. Beach. Ah! That was not ice. It's gone. Oof.
That's awesome. We out here. I just caught mine. There's Dustin's. Oh, yeah, he just splooged all over you. 5 foot.
Oh no, I don't want to know what liquid that is. Oh, ouch, ouch, ouch. Whee!
The putt to tie. If he misses this, they lose. No!
Hey! A miracle. Oof.
What's that? What's that right there?
Wash your sister sauce.
What is it?
Wash your sister sauce. I don't know how your sister would approve to that message. I don't know if she'd like that. Oof. Oh. No. The glass. No. Probably her top 5 glasses too. At least they got the gummies. Gummy snakes still, I guess. Nope, that didn't work at all. Move the trash! Hello? It's not catching any of it. Ah! Oh, no way. No. Of all places. Stop. Oh, that was almost death. In the fish. Too strong. He's just too strong for his own good.
Es ist Musik. Dann ist es perfekt.
Ooh. That's a me thing to do. I've only gone ice skating maybe like 3 times in my life, and at least 2 of the times I smacked into people. It was not great. It's not good. I think maybe we'll do a dash cam. We'll do a dash cam later. Maybe they'll swear. One of my friend's favorite parts. Let's do week 2 of March. Make sure we got the good quality. Bro, there's a sidewalk. Anyone else when they're driving, they're like, why are you on the road though? Bruh. Green. Where's the accident gonna happen? Oh! Biker trying to go straight. Tractor. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Stop. Stop. Stop!
Fuck you!
Damn, dude. He was in the right turn lane too. Just got around everyone.
They had tampons. I was like, this is a gorgeous fucking office.
That's what defines a great office. They got pads, they got tampons. So I got a fucking office. You don't like my driving? Stay on the sidewalk. Wait, what? Hold on a second. Your door is open, sir. Can't turn right there. There's no right there. You're going the wrong way. Oh no. Tourists. Posted in memes. Yeah. Before, yeah. The official React stream's gonna be a different one. That's not this right now. This is just for entertainment. Bro was not paying attention. He was not paying attention. Wreck philosophy? I don't mean by that. Oh, is he trying to do a U-turn? Oh no, this is not gonna go. Commit! Oh no, he's not. Just took him a while. I don't know why that was in there. Oh, it's a tree! That's close. Not paying attention. He's gonna no? Oh, the guy behind him wasn't paying attention. Culture music. That's not a lane, bro. There's a guy when I was going to get my food last night. There's a guy who like ran a red light, but then got stuck behind a bunch of people at the next one. And it's like insta karma to me.
What a cunt. Oh my days. They're all cunts.
They're
He has to go in there.
queuing in. He's mad. They're queuing in the intersection. No one can go. Yeah.
They're not happy bunnies.
They don't put like in the US. They put signs "Do not
Fucking
queue
hell,
through
jeez
intersection."
Louise.
In the Australia,
Oh
they
my
don't have that
gosh.
because it's pretty rare.
No one's happy
They don't
bunnies.
usually have them.
What's this guy doing?
I see them everywhere.
I'm so confused.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Holy moly. What a kerfuffle. Welcome to
What a
Turok, everyone.
kerfuffle!
Gee.
A big kerfuffle. Think of the hydrate. Wait, did he hit that car? He did. Oh, they're good. They were in there too. I thought they would just pop.
Fuck, mate.
Wrong lane.
Bro, are you fucking serious, cunt?
Ah, tourists. Filthy tourists on the wrong side. Filthy Americans on the wrong side of the Aussie road. Every time I see that, I'm like, tourists. In these videos. Even though the way I'm learning to drive is the American way. That was too close. Now I'm totes looking at this model respectfully. It's fine. What are you? Why are you on that side of the road? Is doing a U-turn? U-turn. U-turn? Why my eyes are watering? Probably because I yawned. It's really rare, but sometimes I like seeing these videos, areas I'm like, oh, I kind of know where that is. Very rare though. Where are you going? Uh-oh. Speed up. That's not even like a, that's weird. I don't know where they were going. Dually right turn lane. Are they trying to merge in there? Does it not go the same way? I guess not. I guess it goes a different way. This looks familiar. It's like a bit away, but like this, for example, looks familiar to me. But it's probably not where I think it is. Ah! Nice save. Gave him a heart attack, but nice save. Whoa! Oh, oh, oh! Can he save it? Oh, he saved it. Nice. Nice. Come here. Come here. Go faster. Like going into the freeway going 40 when it's a 60 zone. Don't do it. That's what I've been taught. Never do it. Ever. Get to speed. Come here. This is a headbangy outfit, if ever I've made one. Rock and roll. Daft Punk outfit. Oh, bruh. Yeah, that's the thing, though. You gotta keep in mind how many layers are there of the road, and how many have actively stopped. My friend got it into a side swiping accident because only one lane stopped.
Oh my god, this guy
And they got hit.
crashed. Where? Oh. He's not running. Yeah, this guy. What up?
At least it was covered by their insurance, though.
You good? Yeah?
Neymiş ismi?
Aa, adam düştü.
What happened?
Yanımızda.
Damn.
What happened? Is it okay? Motorlu.
Oh yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. I forgot that's today. Happy St. Patty's Day. For anyone who does anything for it. I didn't even remember to put up my clover bunting. I still have my hearts up from, it's like my all year round unless there's like an event. I should probably put my Easter one up actually. I think I have an Easter one near my desk.
What the fuck? Jesus.
Put that up. I think I do. And I have Christmas, hearts, and Patrick's Day. I have a birthday banner. Also. I can't remember. I can't remember. Your door is open. Oh, and it's getting smacked. I think he knows now. Yeah, there we go. What would happen if he didn't smack it on something, though? Wow, there's a lot of sentences I'm saying today that could be really taken out of context. What would happen if he didn't smack it? Good 2026. That and the fish where I said like it went out one hole and into another. That also out of context. Out of one hole and into another. Oh, dang! I don't know whose fault that would be. In like an insurance claim, if there needed to be one. Guy at the front, or the guy who got hit, the guy who hit. Look at you! They're freaked out now. Why are you honking at them? Let them recalibrate.
Then continue to M3.
Bruh.
Link to Dandenong.
He could have made it. That white car could have just kept going. But he didn't commit. It's about the commitment. You gotta do it, you gotta do it, you know? That's double white lines. You can't cross that, bro. Why are you reversing? Oh. What the? How? 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 What? How do you do that? That's crazy.
It's straight on! Fucking... It's green for me, you fucking idiots!
He's British. Oh. They're button mashing that dash cam right there.
What are you doing?
Whoa. They're being impatient. And oh, you're going too fast. Slow down. Slow down, red car. Slow down. Light tap.
Oh my god.
Just a light. He just did a light booty tap of that car. Look at that. A little, you know. Excuse me. Yeah, that's why you don't go near trucks. Never go next to a truck. Uh-oh. Go faster! The truck's too close. Wait, is it? Oh, it's not even those two. That's the issue. There's too many things happening in this part. Oh my goodness. That's a very orange car. Oh no, was that a ladder or a glass? What was that? Wait, what was that? Oh, it is a ladder. The ladder. That come off. That smash so easily. You gotta work fast in that scenario. At least they're trying to pull over to clean it up.
What the fuck?
That is not a right turn lane. Bruh. Sigh. You just chillin'. Go, dude. Oh, his bike's not starting.
Whoa. That guy just went through.
Storage King. Oh, it's spoken. Wait, they're all kind of smoke. Winter? No, it's now. It's end of summer. Wait, what? What happened? Why are you going there? What the? What? How? What? Huh? Why is your passenger almost entirely out of the car? Is this for a video? I feel like that has to be for a YouTube video or something. There's no way it's not.
Volkswagen's blue carpet event.
That's crazy work. That's so dangerous. I don't know how people do stuff like that. I wouldn't even risk putting like a hand out the window. Unless I had to like indicate. But even then. She was not even looking to her left. Did you see that? She didn't even like she was just like, nah, I got a way out. Let's go. Oh. Damn, they're speeding off. Oh, they're not insured, are they? They sped off.
Basically, yeah, but as a
So fast.
family member, it's
Hit and
not
run.
actually happening.
Hit and run.
Kind of basics 101. So at the moment, like, because you know you're obviously in. Oh wow, what the fuck?
Oh, they're just trying to cut the line.
Oh my god!
Fucking muppet.
You muppet. You muppet. Oh, is the truck gonna change lanes? Is that what's gonna happen? No. Wait. Maybe. Oh, yep, there we go. I called it. I called it. This is why you don't go on the side. Unless you think you can pass it, you don't go on the side of a truck ever. Or right in front of it. You need like a few car lengths in front of it. Gonna zoom by. Someone's gonna zoom by. I bloody called it. I bloody called it. Right through the red light.
And that there is why you make the big switch to us. Champagne Radio every single day.
It's not a lead. For you, anyway. It's also red. It's also red. Oh my goodness. He really gotta poop. He really, really gotta poop. It's the only reason. Someone's dying or you gotta poop real bad. The only reason you drive like that.
right way, and then everything happened very
It's
quickly.
coming
And
out.
we got squeezed out of room. For me, the way Mark's line went through the
It's like
corner,
half
while
of
a
that
legal
line.
taking of the corner independently of the incident, for me is kind of not a legal taking of the corner in the.
Time for a different cardio exercise. This happened. The Mesty. There's a.
Oh, the truck decided it didn't want to go out anymore. Begun. Starships were meant to fly. Oh no, he fell asleep. I think he fell asleep. Being too tired is like there's so many ads in Australia of like basically like how being tired is just as bad as being drunk in terms of accidents. They should stop periodically and also make sure you sleep enough. Wow. He's really trying to get wherever he's going super fast. Super. That, out of all the things, that's what you clip, Fingers. Out of all the out of context quotes that could be clipped, that's your first one. Oh, yeah. My kid mind. Nice, I guess. All right. It is about that time, everybody. It's about the time. I'm gonna do a quick little BRB, and then we will get into our story reading. If you want to grab anything to drink, get cozy, get a snack. You got about 2 or 3 minutes to do so. I'll be right back, and then we'll start our story time. Our story time goal that we reached. I will be back momentarily. Alrighty, everybody. I hope that you've gotten your snacky. Oh, I should get a little. We do rain sounds. I like rain sounds for cozy things. Let's do this. Oh, it's a little too loud. That way down. Alright, there we go. Some rain sounds in the background. Thank you for the hydrate. Hope you got your snacks, your drinks. Cozy blankie if it's not too hot where you are. Quite warm over here. I think I got a little sunburn on my walk yesterday on my face. Face and neck, even with my big hat. Still a little pink on my face. I need to start wearing sunscreen. Getting to that time. Alright, can I can make this a little bigger. Can I make this a little bigger? Or does that block out some of the words? Little bit. Okay. And then let's try to make it on screen a little bit bigger for you guys as well. That over here. How's this? Is this okay? Is that alright? Hopefully. A little bit more to the left. Hopefully that's good. Hopefully that's readable for y'all. Ah, oh my gosh, I should have clicked ads. Hold on, we'll wait till the ads are done. I should have clicked it while I was AFK. We can just chill and yap for a moment while those until those finish. I don't want anyone to miss out, but we're gonna read The Wizard of Oz. As requested, that was the one. Excuse me, the one request that we got for a specific book. So I found a little. It's a little bit. I think somebody scanned it or something. It's a little bit crooked, but it's fine. If it works, it works. It's still better than the other version I found that was like just a wall of text. It was supposed to be like for a Kindle. But it was like a text document, so yeah. Better than that, that's for sure. Much better. But I hope y'all are enjoying the coziness of today's stream a lot. I am. Enjoying hanging out and doing all the random stuff. And I gotta figure out what a TikTok dance. I'll do it in my giraffe onesie. I gotta get that out. I gotta get that out of storage. Out of my drawer. I think it's in my either in my closet somewhere or in a drawer. But I know roughly where it is. I'll wear that while I do it. I do a little thing. And I will also remake the React stream stuff channel so that anyone who wants to post something in there, I'll see if the same mod can look through everything before I do that as well. Maybe I'll give at least a couple weeks for everyone. I say minimum 2 weeks for submissions for that one. What else have we reached? We don't have no suggestions yet for the accessory. I think that's about it so far. I did the post already. Yeah. Alright, ads are done. Ads are done. Now we can read. Here we go. Here we go. I don't know why I'm nervous, but I'm nervous for some reason. I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be, but I am. There we go. All right, here we go. The Wizard of Oz, Chapter 1, The Cyclone. Dorothy lived in the midst of the great Kansas prairies with Uncle Henry, who was a farmer, and Aunt Em, who was the farmer's wife. The house was small for the lumber to build it. Had to be carried by wagon many miles. There were 4 walls, a floor, and a roof, which made one room. And this room contained a rusty-looking cooking stove, a cupboard for the dishes, a table, 3 or 4 chairs, and the beds. Uncle Henry and Aunt Em had a big bed in the corner, and Dorothy a little bed in another corner. There was no garret at all, and no cellar except a small hole dug in the ground, called a cyclone cellar, where the family could go in case of one of those great whirlwinds arose, mighty enough to crash any building in its path. It was reached by a trapdoor in the middle of the floor, from which a ladder led down into a small dark hole. You know what I want to do? Don't capture my cursor. Wait, what? I clicked don't capture my cursor and it disappeared. What the heck? What the hell? Thank you. I'm gonna use my cursor to not lose my place. Y'all don't need to see that. When Dorothy stood in the doorway and looked around, she could see nothing but a great gray prairie on every side. Not a tree nor a single house broke the broad sweep of flat country that reached the edge of the sky in all directions. The sun had baked the plowed land into a gray mass, with little cracks running through it. Even the grass was not green, for the sun had burned the tops of the long blades until they were some gray color to be seen everywhere. Once the house had been painted, but the sun blistered the paint and rains washed it away, and now the house was dull and gray and everything else. When Aunt Em came there to live, she was very young, a very young pretty wife. The sun and wind had changed her too. They had taken the sparkle from her eyes and left them a sober gray. They had taken the red from her cheeks and lips, and they were gray also. She was thin and gaunt, and never smiled now. When Dorothy, who was an orphan, first came to her, Aunt Em had been so startled by the child's laughter that she would scream and press her hand upon her heart whenever Dorothy's merry voice reached her ears. And she still looked at the little girl with wonder that she could find anything to laugh at. Uncle Henry never laughed. He worked hard from the morning till the night and did not know what joy was. He was grey also, from his long beard to his rough boots, and he looked stern and solemn and rarely spoke. It was Toto that made Dorothy laugh and saved her from growing as grey as her other surroundings. Toto was not grey. He was a little black dog with long silky hair and small black eyes that twinkled merrily on either side of his funny weird nose. Toto played all day long, and Dorothy played with him and loved him dearly. Today, however, they were not playing. Uncle Henry sat upon the doorstep and looked anxiously at the sky, which was even grayer than usual. Dorothy stood in the door with Toto in her arms and looked to the sky too. Aunt Em was washing the dishes. From the far north, they heard a low wail on the wind, and Uncle Henry and Dorothy could see where the long grass bowed in waves before the coming storm. There now came a sharp whistling in the air from the south. And as they turned their eyes that way, they saw ripples in the grass coming from that direction also. Suddenly, Uncle Henry stood up. "There's a cyclone coming, Em," he called to his wife. "I'll go look after the stock." Then he ran towards the sheds where the cows and horses were kept. Aunt Em dropped her work and came to the door. One glance told her of the danger close at hand. "Quick, Dorothy!" she screamed. "Run for the cellar!" Toto jumped out of Dorothy's arms and hid under the bed, and the girls started to get him. Aunt Em, badly frightened, threw open the trapdoor in the floor and climbed down the ladder into the small dark hole. Dorothy caught Toto at last and started to follow her aunt. When she was halfway across the room, there came a great shriek from the wind, and the house shook so hard that she lost her footing and sat down suddenly on the floor. A strange thing then happened. The house whirled around 2 or 3 times and slowly rose through the air. Dorothy felt as if she were going up in a balloon. The north and south winds met where the house stood, and it made it in the exact center of the cyclone. In the middle of a cyclone, the air is generally still, but great pressure of the wind on every side of the house raised it up higher and higher until it was at the very top of the cyclone. And there it remained, and was carried miles and miles away, as easily as you could carry a feather. It was very dark, and the wind howled horribly around her, but Dorothy found she was riding quite easily. After the first few whirlwinds, and one other time when the house tipped badly, she felt as if she were being rocked gently like a baby in a cradle. Toto did not like it. He ran about the room, now here, now there, barking loudly, but Dorothy sat quite still on the floor and waited to see what would happen. Sip some water. Once Toto got too near to the open trap door and fell in, and at first the little girl thought she had lost him, but soon she saw one of his ears sticking up through the hole. The strong pressure of the air was keeping him up, so that he could not fall. She crept to the hole, caught Toto by the ear, and dragged him into the room again, afterward closing the trap door so that no more accidents could happen. Hour after hour passed, and slowly Dorothy got over her fright. But she felt quite lonely, and the wind shrieked so loudly all about her that she nearly became deaf. Cozy. I'm glad. At first she'd wondered if she would be dashed to pieces when the house fell again, but as the hours passed and nothing terrible happened, she stopped worrying and resolved to wait calmly and see what the future would bring. At last she crawled over to the swaying floor to her bed and lay upon it, and Toto followed and laid beside her. In spite of the swaying of the house and the wailing of the winds, Dorothy soon closed her eyes and fell fast asleep. Chapter 2: The Council with the Munchkins. Yeah. Turn myself this way a little. And blink a little, because my eyes are dry these last couple days. Last night and today, pretty dry. For some reason. Big stretch. Alright. Sorry if I made anyone yawn. She was awakened by a shock so sudden and severe that if Dorothy had not been lying on the soft bed, she might have been hurt, as it was the jar that made her catch her breath and wonder what had happened. And Toto put his cold little nose to her face and whined dismally. Dorothy sat up and noticed that the house was not moving, nor was it dark, for the bright sunshine came in the window, flooding the little room. She sprang from her bed, and with Toto at her heels, ran to open the door. The little girl gave a cry of amazement and looked. Oops. I'm pressing the wrong button. There we go. About her eyes growing bigger and bigger at the wonderful sight she saw. The cyclone had set the house down very gently for a cyclone, in the midst of a country of marvelous beauty. There were lovely patches of green, sward all about, with stately trees bearing rich and luscious fruits. Banks of gorgeous flowers were on every hand, and bird with rare and bright plumage sang and fluttered in the trees and bushes. A little way off was a small brook, rushing and sparkling along between green banks, and murmuring in a voice very grateful to a little girl who had lived so long in the dry, grey prairies. While she stood looking eagerly at the strange and beautiful sights, she noticed coming towards her a group of the queerest people she had ever seen. They were not as big as the grown folks she had always been used to, but neither were very small. In fact, they seemed about as tall as Dorothy, who was a well-grown child for her age, although they were, so far as looks goes, many years older. 3 were men and 1 a woman, and all were oddly dressed. They wore round hats that rose to a small point, a foot above their head, with little bells around the brims that tinkled sweetly as they moved. The hats of the men were blue, and the little woman's hat was white. And she wore a white gown that hung in plaits from her shoulders. Over it were sprinkled little stars that glistened in the sun like diamonds. The men were dressed in blue of the same shade of their hats, the blue, and wore well-polished boots with a deep roll of blue at the top. The men, Dorothy thought, were about as old as Uncle Henry, but 2 of them had beards. But the little woman was doubtless much older. Her face was covered with wrinkles, her hair was nearly white, and she walked rather stiffly. When these people drew near to the house where Dorothy was standing in the doorway, they paused and whispered amongst themselves, as if afraid to come further. But the little old woman walked up to Dorothy, made a low bow, and said in a sweet voice, "You are welcome, most noble sorceress, to the land of the Munchkins. We are so grateful to you for having killed the Wicked Witch of the East and for setting our people free from bondage." Dorothy listened to the speech with wonder. What could the little woman possibly mean by calling her a sorceress and saying that she killed the Wicked Witch of the East? Dorothy was an innocent, harmless little girl who'd been carried by a cyclone many miles from home, and she'd never killed anything in her life. But the woman evidently expected her to answer, so Dorothy said with hesitation, "You are very kind, but there must be some mistake. I've not killed anything." "Your house did, anyway," replied the little old woman with a laugh. "And that's the same thing, see?" she continued, pointing to the corner of the house. There are 2 toes still sticking out from under the block of wood." 2 toes? You mean 2 feet? Dorothy looked and gave a little cry of fright. There indeed, just under the corner of the beam of the house, rested 2 feet were sticking out, shod in silver shoes with pointed toes. Oh dear, cried Dorothy, clasping her hands together in dismay. "The house must have fallen on her. Whatever shall I do?" "There's nothing to be done," said the little woman calmly. "But who was she?" asked Dorothy. "She was the Wicked Witch of the East, as I said," answered the little woman. "She has held all the Munchkins in bondage for many years, making them slave for her night and day. Now they are all set free and are grateful to you for the favor." "Who are the Munchkins?" inquired Dorothy. "They are the people who live in this land of the East, where the Wicked Witch ruled." "Are you a Munchkin?" asked Dorothy. "No, but I am a friend, although I live in the land to the north." when they saw the witch of the east was dead, the Munchkins sent a swift messenger to me, and I came at once. I am the witch of the north. Oh, gracious! Cried Dorothy. Are you a real witch? Yes, indeed, answered the little woman. But I am a good witch, and the people love me. I'm not. Is this Glinda? I think this is Glinda. I'm not as powerful as the Wicked Witch who ruled over here, or I should have set the people free myself. But I thought all witches were wicked, said the girl, who was half frightened at facing a real witch. Oh, no, that is a great mistake. There were only 4 witches in all the land of Oz, and 2 of them, those who live in the north and south, are good witches. I know this is true, for I am one myself. I cannot be mistaken. Those who dwelt in the east and the west were indeed wicked witches. But now that you've killed one of them, there's only one wicked witch in all the land of Oz, one who is in the west. What? Said Dorothy after a moment's thought. Aunt Em has told me that the witches were all dead, years and years ago. Who's Aunt Em? Inquired the little old woman. She is my aunt who lives in Kansas, where I came from. The Witch of the North seemed to think for a time, with her head bowed and her eyes upon the ground. Then she looked up and said, I do not know where Kansas is, for I've never heard of that country mentioned before. But tell me, is it a civilized country? Oh, yes, replied Dorothy. Then that accounts for it. In a civilized countries, I believe there are no witches left, nor wizards, nor sorcerers, nor magicians. But you see, the land of Oz has never been civilized, for we are cut off from all the rest of the world. Therefore, we still have witches and wizards among us. Who are the wizards? Asked Dorothy. Oz himself is the great wizard, answered the witch, sinking her voice to a whisper. He is more powerful than all the rest of us together. He lives in the City of Emeralds. Dorothy was going to ask another question, but just then the Munchkins, who had been standing silently by, gave a loud shout and pointed to the corner of the house, where the Wicked Witch had been lying. What is it? Asked the little old woman, and looked and began to laugh. The feet of the dead witch had disappeared entirely, and nothing was left but silver shoes. She was so old, explained the Witch of the North, that she dried up quickly in the sun. That's the end of her. Hi, Annikas, welcome on in. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to story time. But the silver shoes are yours, and you shall have them to wear. She reached down and picked up the shoes, and after shaking the dust out of them, handed them to Dorothy. What is that? What is that, you might? The Witch of the East was proud of her silver shoes, and one of the Munchkins, and there is some charm connected to them, but what it is we never knew. Dorothy carried those shoes into the house and placed them on the table. Then she came out again to the Munchkins and said, I'm anxious to get back to my aunt and uncle, for I'm sure they will worry about me. Can you help me find a way? The Munchkins and the witch first looked at one another, and then at Dorothy, and then shook their heads. At the east, not far from here, said one, there is a great desert, and none could live across it. It's the same in the south, said another, for I have been there and seen it. The south is the country of the Quadlings. I am told that said the third man, that it is the same at the west, and that country where the Winkies live is ruled by the Wicked Witch of the West, who would make you her slave if you passed her way. The north is my home, said the old lady, and at its edge is the same great desert that surrounds this land of Oz. I'm afraid, my dear, you will have to live with us. Dorothy began to sob at this, for she felt lonely among all these strange people. Her tears seemed to grieve the kind-hearted Munchkins, for they immediately took out their handkerchiefs and began to weep also. As for the little old woman, she took off her cap and balanced the point on the end of her nose, while she counted 1, 2, 3 in a solemn voice. At once the cap changed into a slate on which was written in big white chalk marks, "Let Dorothy go to the city of of emeralds." The little old woman took the slate from her nose, and having read the words on it, asked, "Is your name Dorothy, my dear?" "Yes," answered the child, looking up and drying her tears. "Then you must go to the Emerald City. Perhaps Oz will take you. Perhaps Oz will help you." "Where is the city?" asked Dorothy. "It is exactly in the center of the country, and is ruled by Oz, the great wizard I told you of." "Is he a good man?" inquired the little girl anxiously. "He is a good wizard. A good wizard. Whether he is a man or not, I cannot tell, for I have never seen him." "How can I get there?" asked Dorothy. "You must walk. It is a long journey through a country that is sometimes pleasant and sometimes dark and terrible. However, I will use all magic arts I know of to keep you from harm." "Won't you go with me?" pleaded the girl, who had begun to look upon the little old woman as her only friend. "No, I cannot do that," she replied, "but I will give you my kiss, and no one will dare injure a person who has been kissed by the Witch of the North." She came close to Dorothy and kissed her gently on the forehead. Where her lips touched the girl, they had left a round shining mark, as Dorothy found out soon after. "The road to the City of Emeralds is paved with yellow brick," said the witch, "so you cannot miss it. When you get to Oz, do not be afraid of him, but tell your story and ask him to help you. Goodbye, my dear." The three Munchkins bowed low to her and wished her a pleasant journey, after which they walked away through the trees. The witch gave Dorothy a friendly little nod, whirled around on her left heel 3 times, and straightway disappeared, much to the surprise of little Toto, who barked after her loudly enough when she was gone, because he had been afraid to even growl while she stood by. But Dorothy, knowing her to be a witch, had expected her to disappear in just that way, and was not surprised in the least. Thank you for the hydrate. Much needed. Lots and lots of reading. I'm already at page 28. Delicious water. Mm. All right. Chapter 3, How Dorothy Saved the Scarecrow. When Dorothy was left alone, she began to feel hungry. So she went to the cupboard and cut herself some bread, which she spread with butter. She gave some to Toto, and taking a pail from the shelf, she carried it down to the little brook and filled it with clear, sparkling water. Toto ran over to the trees and began to bark at the bird sitting there. Dorothy went to get him and saw such delicious fruit hanging from the branches that she gathered some of it, finding it just what she wanted to help out her breakfast. Then she went back to the house and, having helped herself and Toto to a good drink of cool, clear water, she set about making ready for the journey to the City of Emeralds. This reminds me of a Wizard of Oz themed birthday party one of my cousins wanted to have when he was a kid. Only bits I remember for sure was that I went and I remember as a member of the Lollipop Guild. Nice. And one cousin went as the house. like a big box thing around them. That's cute. That's adorable. Dorothy had only one other dress, but it happened to be clean and was hanging on a peg beside her bed. It was gingham with checks of white and blue, and although the blue was somewhat faded with many washings, it was still a pretty frock. The girl washed herself carefully, dressed herself in clean gingham, and tied her pink sunbonnet on her head. She took a little basket and filled it with bread from the cupboard, laying a white cloth over the top. Then she looked down at her feet and noticed how old and worn her shoes were. They surely will never do for a long journey, Toto, she said. And Toto looked up at her face with his little black eyes wagging his tail to show he knew what she meant. At that moment, Dorothy saw lying on the table of the silver shoes that had belonged to the Witch of the East. I wonder if they will ever fit me, said Toto. She said to Toto. They would be just the thing to take on a long walk, for they could not wear out. She took off her old leather shoes and tried on the silver ones, which fitted her as well as if they had been made for her. Finally, she picked up her basket. That's so different to the movie. The movie that she's like, put them on. And this, it's more of a conscious decision. They got rid of a lot of backstory stuff, I guess. Come along, Toto, she said. We'll go to the Emerald City and ask the Great Oz how to get back to Kansas again. She closed the doors, locked it, and put the key carefully in the pocket of her dress. And so, with Toto trotting along soberly behind her, she started on her journey. There were several roads nearby, but it did not take her long to find one paved with yellow brick. Within a short time, she was walking briskly towards the Emerald City, her silver shoes tinkling merrily on the hard yellow roadbed. The sun shone brightly, and the birds sang sweetly, and Dorothy did not feel nearly as bad as you might think. A little girl who had been suddenly whisked away from her own country and set down in the midst of a strange land. She was surprised as she walked along to see how pretty the country was about her. There were neat fences at the sides of the road painted a dainty blue color, and beyond them were fields of grain and vegetables in abundance. Evidently, the Munchkins were good farmers and able to raise large crops. Once in a while, she would pass a house, and the people came out to look at her and bow low as she went by. But everyone knew she had been the means of destroying the wicked witch and setting them free from bondage. The houses of the Munchkins were odd-looking dwellings, but each was round. Why is this moon? This moon makes me think of like Majora's Mask. The moon from Majora's Mask. Just the face on it. Dwellings for each was round, with a big dome for a roof. All were painted blue, for this country of the East blue was the favorite color. Towards evening, when Dorothy was tired with her long walk and began to wonder where she should pass the night, she came to a house rather larger than the rest. On the green lawn before it, many men and women were dancing. 5 little fiddlers played as loudly as possible, and the people were laughing and singing, while a big table nearby was loaded with delicious fruits and nuts, pies and cakes, and many other good things to eat. The people greeted Dorothy kindly and invited her to supper and to pass the night with them, for this was the home of one of the richest Munchkins in the land, and his friends were gathered with him to celebrate their freedom from the bondage of the wicked witch. Dorothy ate a hearty supper and was waited upon by the rich Munchkin himself, whose name was Bark. Then she sat down upon you can tell I've watched Wicked. And then she sat down upon a settle and watched the people dance. When Bark saw Silver Shoes, he said, "You must be the great sorceress." "Why?" asked the girl. "Because you wear the silver shoes and have killed the wicked witch. Besides, you have white in your frock, and only witches and sorcerers wear white." Interesting. My dress is blue and white checked, said Dorothy, smoothing out the wrinkles on it. It is kind of you to wear that, said Buck. Blue is the color of the Munchkins, and white is the witch color. So we know you are a friendly witch. Dorothy did not know what to say for this, for other people seemed to think her a witch, and she knew very well she was only an ordinary little girl who had come by the chance of a cyclone into a strange land. When she had tired watching the dancing, Buck led her into the house, where he gave her a room with a pretty bed in it. The sheets were made of blue cloth, and Dorothy slept soundly on them until morning, with Toto curled up on the blue rug beside her. She ate a hearty breakfast and watched a wee Munchkin baby who played with Toto and pulled his tail and crowed and laughed in a way that greatly amused Dorothy. Toto was a fine curiosity to all the people, for they had never seen a dog before. How far is it to Emerald City? The girl asked. I do not know, answered Buck gravely, for I have never been there. It is better for people to keep away from Oz, unless they have business with him. But it is a long way to the Emerald City, and it will take you many days. The country here is rich and pleasant, but you must pass through rough and dangerous places before you reach the end of your journey. This worried Dorothy a little, but she knew that only the great Oz could help her to get to Kansas again, so she bravely resolved not to turn back. She bade her friends goodbye and again started along the road of yellow brick. When she had gone several miles, she thought she would stop to rest, and so climbed on top of a fence beside the road and sat down. There was a great cornfield beyond the fence, and not far away she saw a scarecrow placed high on a pole to keep the birds from the ripe corn. Dorothy leaned her chin upon her hand and gazed thoughtfully at the scarecrow. Its head was a small sack stuffed with straw, with eyes, nose, and a mouth painted on it to represent a face. An old pointed blue hat that had belonged to some Munchkins was perched on its head, and the rest of the figure was a blue suit of clothes worn and faded, which had also been stuffed with straw. On the feet were some old boots with blue tops, such as every man wore in this country. And the figure was raised above the stalks of corn by means of a pole stuck up its back. While Dorothy was looking earnestly into the queer painted face of the scarecrow, she was surprised to see one of the eyes slowly winking at her. She thought she must have been mistaken at first, for one of the scarecrows in Kansas never winked. But presently the figure nodded its head to her in a friendly way, and she climbed down from the fence and walked up to it, while Toto ran around the pole and barked. Good day, said the scarecrow, in a rather husky voice. Did you speak? Asked the girl, in wonder. Certainly, answered the scarecrow. How do you do? I'm pretty well, thank you, replied Dorothy politely. How do you do? I'm not feeling well, said the scarecrow with a smile, for it is very tedious being perched up here day and night to scare away crows. Can't you get down? Asked Dorothy. No, for this pole is stuck up my back. If you will please take away the pole, I shall be greatly obliged to you. Dorothy reached up both arms and lifted the figure off the pole. For being stuffed with straw, it was quite light. Thank you very much, said the scarecrow, when he had been set down on the ground. I feel like a new man. Dorothy was puzzled for this, for it sounded queer to hear a stuffed man speak, and to see him bow and walk along beside her. Who are you? Asked the scarecrow, when he had stretched himself and yawned, and where are you going? My name is Dorothy, said the girl, and I'm going to the Emerald City to ask Great Oz to send me back to Kansas. Where's the Emerald City? He inquired. And who is Oz? Why, you don't know, she replied in surprise. No, indeed. I do not know anything. You see, I am stuffed, so I have no brains at all. He answered sadly. Oh, said Dorothy. I'm awfully sorry for you. Do you think, he asked, if I go to the Emerald City with you, that the great Oz would give me some brains? I cannot tell, she returned. But you may come with me if you'd like. If Oz will not give you any brains, you will be no worse off than you are now. That is true, said the Scarecrow. You see, he continued confidently, I don't mind my legs and arms and body being stuffed because I cannot get hurt. Well, you can burn, technically. If anyone treads on my toes or sticks a pin into me, it doesn't matter, for I can't feel it. But I do not want people to call me a fool, and if my head stays stuffed with straw instead of with brains, as yours is, am I ever going to know anything? I understand how you feel, said the little girl, who was truly sorry for him. If you'll come with me, I'll ask Oz to do all he can for you. Thank you, he answered gratefully. They walked back to the road. Dorothy helped him over the fence, and they started along the path of the yellow brick for the Emerald City. Toto did not like this addition to the party at first. He smelled around the stuffed man as if he suspected there might be a nest of rats in the straw, and he often growled in an unfriendly way at the Scarecrow. Don't mind Toto, said Dorothy to her new friend. He never bites. Oh, I'm not afraid, replied the Scarecrow. He can't hurt straw. Do let me carry that basket for you. I shall not mind for it, for I can't get tired. I'll tell you a secret, he continued as he walked along. There's only one thing in the world I'm afraid of. What's that? Asked Dorothy. The Munchkin farmer who made you? No, answered the Scarecrow. It's a lighted match. Yeah, fire. Literally fire. Just stretch every chapter. And I'll hydrate too. We're zooming through. I'm zooming through this book right now. Chapter 4. The Road Through the Forest. After a few hours, the road began to be rough, and the walking grew so difficult that the Scarecrow often stumbled over the yellow brick, which were here very uneven. Sometimes, indeed, they were broken or missing altogether, leaving holes that Toto jumped across and Dorothy walked around. As for the Scarecrow, having no brains, he walked straight ahead, and so stepped into holes and fell at full length on the hard bricks. It never hurt him, however, and Dorothy would pick him up and set him on his right feet again, while he joined her in laughing merrily at his own mishap. The farms were not nearly so well cared for as they were further back. There were few houses and fewer fruit trees, and the further they went, the more dismal and lonesome the country became. At noon they sat down by the riverside, near a little brook, and Dorothy opened her basket and got out some bread. She offered a piece to the Scarecrow, but he refused. I'm never hungry, he said, and it is a lucky thing I'm not, for my mouth is only painted, and if I should cut a hole in it so I could eat, the straw I'm stuffed with would come out, and that would spoil the shape of my head. Dorothy saw at once that this was true, so she only nodded and went on eating her bread. Tell me something about yourself and the country you came from, said the Scarecrow. When she had finished her dinner, so she told him all about Kansas and how grey everything was there, and how the cyclone had carried her to this queer land of Oz. The Scarecrow listened carefully and said, I cannot understand why you should wish to leave this beautiful country and go back to the dry, grey place you call Kansas. That is because you have no brains, answered the girl. Ew. No matter how dreary and grey our homes are, we people of flesh and blood would rather live there than in any country, be it ever so beautiful. There's no place like home. The Scarecrow sighed. Course, I cannot understand it, he said. If your heads were stuffed with straw like mine, you would probably all live in the beautiful places, and then Kansas would have no people at all. It's fortunate for Kansas that you have brains. Won't you tell me a story while we're resting? Asked the child. The Scarecrow looked at her reproachfully and answered, My life has been so short that I really know nothing whatsoever. Did I hydrate? I was only made the day before yesterday. What happened in the world before that time is all unknown to me. Luckily, when the farmer made my head, one of the first things he did was paint my ears so that I heard what was going on. There was another munchkin with him, and the first thing I heard was the farmer saying, How do you like those ears? They aren't straight, answered the other. Never mind, said the farmer. Their ears, just the same, which was true enough. Now I'll make the eyes, said the farmer. So he painted my right eye, and as soon as it was finished, I found myself looking at him and everything around me with a great deal of curiosity. For this was my first glimpse at the world. That's a rather pretty eye, remarked the munchkin, who was watching the farmer. Blue paint is just the color for eyes. I think I make the other one a little bigger, said the farmer, and when the second eye was done, I could see much better than before. Then he made my nose and my mouth, but I did not speak, because at that time I didn't know what a mouth was for. I had the fun of watching them make my body and my arms and legs, and when they fastened on my head at last, I felt very proud, for I thought I was just as good a man as anyone. This fellow will scare the crows fast enough, said my farmer. He looks just like a man. Why, he is a man, said the other, and I quite agreed with him. The farmer carried me under his arm to the cornfield and set me up on a tall stick, where you found me. He and his friends soon after walked away and left me alone. I did not like to be deserted this way, so I tried to walk after them, but my feet would not touch the ground, and I was forced to stay on that pole. It was a lonely life to lead, for I had nothing to think of, having been made such a little while before. Many crows and other birds flew into the cornfield, but as soon as they saw me, they flew away again, thinking I was a munchkin. And this pleased me, and made me feel like I was quite important a person. By and by, an old crow flew near me, and after looking at me carefully, he perched upon my shoulder and said, I wonder if that farmer thought to fool me in this clumsy manner. Any crow of sense could see that you are only stuffed with straw. Then he hopped down at my feet and ate all the corn he wanted. The other birds, seeing he was not harmed by me, came to eat that corn too. So in a short time there was a great flock of them about me. I felt sad at this, for it showed I was not such a good scarecrow after all. But the old crow comforted me, saying, If you only had brains in your head, you would be as good as a man as any of them, and a better man than some of them. Brains are the only things worth having in this world, no matter whether one is a crow or a man. After the crows had gone, I thought this over and decided I would try hard to get some brains. By good luck, you came along and pulled me off the stake, And from what you say, I'm sure the Great Wizard will give me brains as soon as we get to the Emerald City. I hope so, said Dorothy earnestly, since you seem anxious to have them. Oh, yes, I am anxious, returned the Scarecrow. It is such an uncomfortable feeling to know one is a fool. It's making me sleepy. Oh no. Wow. My eyes are getting heavy. I needed that. I needed a coffee. Yep. Or both. Let me blink a little. I'll wake myself up. Whew. Did anyone in chat fall asleep? I could say that. They would not reply though. Well, said the girl, let us go. And she handed a basket to the Scarecrow. There were no fences at all by the side of the roadside now, and the land was rough and untilled. Towards evening, they came to a great forest, where the trees grew so big and close together that their branches met over the road of yellow brick. It was almost dark under the trees, for the branches shut out the daylight, but the travelers did not stop and went into the forest. I need to wipe my glasses. There's a smudge. Yeah, but oh, this spot. Still a spot on there that does not want me to get. Be clean glasses, please. Alright. If this road goes in, it must come out, said the Scarecrow. And as the Emerald City is on the other end of the road, we must go wherever it leads us. Anyone would know that, said Dorothy. Certainly. That is why I know it, returned the Scarecrow. If it required brains to figure it out, I never should have said it. After an hour or so of the light faded away, and they found themselves stumbling along in the darkness. Dorothy couldn't see at all, but Toto could, for some dogs see very well in the dark. And the Scarecrow declared he could see as well as by day. So she took hold of his arm and managed to get along fairly well. If you see any house or any place where we can pass the night, she said, you must tell me, for it is very uncomfortable walking in the dark. Soon after, the Scarecrow stopped. I see a little cottage at the right of us, he said, built of logs and branches. Shall we go there? Yes, indeed, answered the child. I'm all tired out. So the Scarecrow led her through the trees until they reached a cottage, and Dorothy entered and found a bed of dried leaves in the corner. She lay down at once, and with Toto by her side, soon fell sound asleep. The Scarecrow, who was never tired, stood up in another corner and waited patiently until morning came. Chapter 5: The Rescue of the Tin Woodman. Good relation. When Dorothy awoke, the sun was shining through the trees, and Toto had long been out chasing birds and squirrels. She sat up and looked around her. There was a scarecrow still standing patiently in his corner, waiting for her. "We must go and search for water," she said to him. "Why do you want water?" he asked. "To wash my face clean after the dust of the road, and to drink, so the dry bread will not stick in my throat." "It must be inconvenient to be made of flesh," said the Scarecrow thoughtfully. "But you must sleep and eat and drink. However, you have brains, and it is worth a lot of bother to be able to think properly." They left the cottage and walked through the trees until they found a little spring of clear water where Dorothy drank and bathed and ate her breakfast. She saw there was not much bread left in the basket, and the girl was thankful the Scarecrow did not have to eat anything, for there was scarcely enough for herself and Toto for the rest of the day. When she'd finished her meal and was about to go back to the road of yellow brick, she was startled to hear a deep groan nearby. "What was that?" she asked timidly. "Cannot imagine," replied the Scarecrow, "but we can go and see." Just then another groan reached their ears, and the sound seemed to come from behind them. They turned and walked through the forest, and a few steps, when Dorothy discovered something shining in a ray of sunshine that fell between the trees. She ran to the place and then stopped short with a cry of surprise. One of the big trees had been partially chopped through, and standing beside it, with an uplifted axe in his hands, was a man made entirely of tin. His head and arms and legs were jointed upon his body. He stood perfectly motionless, as if he could not stir at a moment. Dorothy looked at him in amazement, and so did the Scarecrow, while Toto barked sharply and made a snap at his tin legs, which hurt his teeth. "Did you groan?" asked Dorothy. "Yes," answered the Tin Man, "I did. I've been groaning for more than a year, and no one has ever heard me before or come to help me." "What can I do for you?" she inquired softly, for she was moved by the sad voice in which the man spoke. "Get an oil can and oil my joints," he answered. "They are rusted so badly that I cannot move them at all. If I am well oiled, I shall soon be all right again. You'll find an oil can on a shelf in my cottage." Dorothy at once ran back to the cottage and found the oil can, and then she returned and asked anxiously, "Where are your joints?" "Oil my neck first," replied the Tin Woodman. So she oiled it, and as it was quite badly rusted, the Scarecrow took hold of the tin head and moved it gently from side to side until it worked freely, and then the man could turn it himself. "Now oil the joints in my arms," he said, and Dorothy oiled them, and the Scarecrow bent them carefully until they were quite free from rust and good as new. The Tin Woodman gave a sigh of satisfaction and lowered his axe, which he leant against the tree. "This is a great comfort," he said. "I've been holding that axe in the air ever since I rusted, and I'm glad to be able to put it down at last. Now, if you will oil the joints of my legs, I shall be all right once more." So they oiled his legs until he could move them freely, and he thanked them again and again for his release, for he seemed a very polite creature and very grateful. "I might have stood there always if you had not come along," he said. "So you have certainly saved my life. How did you happen to be here?" "We're on our way to the Emerald City to see the Great Oz," she answered, "and we stopped at your cottage to pass the night." "Why do you wish to see Oz?" he asked. "I want him to send me back to Kansas, and the Scarecrow wants him to put in a few brains into his head," she replied. The Tin Woodman appeared to think deeply for a moment. Then he said, Do you suppose Oz could give me a heart? Why, I guess so, Dorothy answered. Oops. Whoa. What'd I do? I went way too far. Hold on. Chapter 5. I clicked a button. Go. Give me a heart. Why, I guess so, Dorothy answered. It would be easy as to give the Scarecrow brains. True, the Tin Woodman returned. So if you'll allow me to join your party, I will also go to the Emerald City and ask Oz to help me. Come along, said the Scarecrow heartily, and Dorothy added that she would be pleased to have his company. So the Tin Woodman shouldered his axe, and they all passed through the forest until they came to the road that was paved with yellow brick. The Tin Woodman had asked Dorothy to put the oil can in her basket, for, he said, if I should get caught in the rain and rust again, I would need the oil can badly. It was a bit of good luck to have their new comrade join the party, for soon after they began their journey again, they came to a place where the trees and branches grew so thick over the road that the travellers could not pass. But the Tin Woodman set to work with his axe and chopped so well that soon he cleared a passage for the entire party. Dorothy was thinking so earnestly as they walked along that she did not notice when the Scarecrow stumbled into a hole and rolled over to the side of the road. Indeed, he was obliged to call her to help him again. Why didn't you walk around the hole? Asked the Tin Woodman. I don't know enough, replied the Scarecrow cheerfully. My head is stuffed with straw, you know, and that's why I'm going to the Oz to ask for some brains. Oh, I see, said the Tin Woodman. But after all, brains are not the best things in the world. Have you any? Inquired the Scarecrow. No, my head is quite empty, answered the Woodman. But once I had brains, and a heart also. So having tried them both, I should much rather have a heart. And why is that? Asked the Scarecrow. I'll tell you my story, and then you will know. So while they were walking through the forest, the Tin Woodman told the following story. I was born the son of a woodman who chopped down trees in the forest and sold the wood for a living. When I grew up, I too became a wood chopper. And after my father died, I took care of my old mother as long as she lived. Then I made up my mind that instead of living alone, I would marry, so that I might not become lonely. There was one of the Munchkin girls who was so beautiful that I soon grew to love her with all my heart. She, on her part, promised to marry me as soon as I could earn enough money to build a better house for her. So I set to work harder than ever. But the girl lived with an old woman who did not want her to marry anyone, for she was so lazy she wished the girl to remain with her and do the cooking and housework. So the old woman went to the Wicked Witch of the East and promised her 2 sheep and a cow if she would prevent the marriage. Thereupon the Wicked Witch enchanted my axe, and when I was chopping away at my best one day, for I was anxious to get a new house and my wife as soon as possible, the axe slipped all at once and cut off my left leg. This at first seemed like a great misfortune, for I knew a one-legged man could not do very well as a wood chopper. So I went to a tinsmith and had him make a new leg out of tin. The leg worked well enough once I was used to it, but my actions angered the Wicked Witch of the East, for she had promised the old woman I should not marry the pretty Munchkin girl. When I began chopping again, my axe slipped and cut through my right leg. Again I went to the tinner, and again he made me a leg out of tin. After this, the enchanted axe cut off my arms, one after the other. But nothing daunted, I had them replaced with tin ones. The Wicked Witch then made the axe slip and cut off my head. Oh my goodness. and at first I thought that was the end of me. But the tinner happened to come along, and he made a new head out of tin. I thought I had beaten the wicked witch then, and I worked harder than ever, but I little knew how cruel my enemy could be. She thought of a new way to kill my love for the beautiful Munchkin maiden, and made my axe slip again, so that it cut right through my body, splitting me in two halves. Once more than Tinner came to my help and made me a body of tin, fastening my tin arms and legs and head to it by means of joints, so that I could move around as well as ever. But alas, I now had no heart, so I lost all my love for the Munchkin girl. I did not care whether I married her or not. I suppose she is still living with the old woman, waiting for me to come after her. My body shone so brightly in that sun that I felt very proud of it, and it did not matter now if my axe slipped, for it could not cut me. There was only one danger, that my joints would rust, but I keep an oil can in my cottage, and took care of the oil myself whenever I needed it. However, there came a day when I forgot to do this, and being caught in a rainstorm, before I thought of the danger of my joints had rusted, and I was left to stand in the woods until you came along to help me. It was a terrible thing to undergo, but during the year I stood there, I had time to think that the greatest loss I had known was the loss of my heart. While I was in love, I was the happiest man on earth, but no one can love who has not a heart. And so I am resolved to ask Oz to give me one. If he does, I will go back to the Munchkin maiden and marry her. Both Dorothy and the Scarecrow had been greatly interested in the story of the Tin Woodman, and now they knew why he was so anxious to get a new heart. All the same, said the Scarecrow, I shall ask for a brain instead of a heart, for a fool would not know what to do with a heart if he had one. I shall take the heart, returned the Tin Woodman. For brains do not make one happy, and happiness is the best thing in the world. Dorothy did not say anything, for she was puzzled to know which of her two friends was right, and she decided she could only get back to Kansas and Aunt Em. It didn't matter so much whether the Woodman had no brains and the Scarecrow no heart, or each got what he wanted. What worried her most was that the bread was nearly gone, and another meal for herself and Toto would empty the basket. To be sure, neither the Woodman nor the Scarecrow ever ate anything, but she was not made of tin nor straw, and could not live unless she was fed. Big stretch. I think I got time for one more chapter. I don't know. Maybe. How many's in it? 62? Yeah. I think we got time for just one more. Last chapter. Be more than an hour. Y'all are getting overtime. It's making me so sleepy though. I could not be a librarian and read to people on a daily basis. I would want to go fall asleep after. The Cowardly Lion. Thank you for the hydrate, by the way. All this time, Dorothy and her companions had been walking through the thick woods. The road was still paved with yellow brick, but these were much covered by dried branches and dried leaves from the trees, and the walking was not at all good. There were few birds in this part of the forest, for birds love the open country where there's plenty of sunshine, but now and then there came a deep growl from some of the wild animals hidden among the trees. The sounds made the little girl's heart beat fast, for she did not know what made them, but Toto knew, and he walked close to Dorothy's side and did not even bark in return. How long will it be, the child asked of the Tin Woodman, before we are out of the forest? I cannot tell, was the answer, for I have never been to the Emerald City. But my father went there once, when I was a boy, and he said it was a long journey through the dangerous country along near the city, where Oz dwells in the country is beautiful. But I am not afraid, so long as I have my oil can, and nothing can hurt the scarecrow while you bear upon your forehead the mark of the good witch's kiss, and that will protect you from harm too. But Toto, said the girl anxiously, what will protect him? We must protect him ourselves if he is in danger, replied the Tin Woodman. Just as he spoke, there came from the forest a terrible roar, and the next moment a great lion bounded into the road. With one blow of his paw, he sent the scarecrow spinning over and over to the edge of the road, and then he struck the Tin Woodman with his sharp claws. But to the lion's surprise, he could make no impression on the tin, although the woodman fell over in the road and lay still. The ruler of Narnia, it is. It is. Little Toto, now that he had an enemy to face, ran barking toward the lion, and the great beast opened his mouth to bite the dog when Dorothy, fearing Toto would be killed and heedless of danger, rushed forward and slapped the lion upon his nose as hard as she could. And then she cried out, "Don't you dare to bite Toto! You ought to be ashamed of yourself, a big beast like you, to bite a poor little dog!" "I didn't bite him," said the lion, as he rubbed his nose with his paw where Dorothy had hit him. "No, but you tried to," she retorted. "You are nothing but a big coward." "I know it," said the lion, hanging his head in shame. "I've always known it. But how can I help it? I don't know, I'm sure. To think of you striking a stuffed man, like the poor scarecrow. Is he stuffed?" asked the lion in surprise, as he watched her pick up the scarecrow and set him upon his feet, while she patted him into shape again. "Of course he's stuffed," replied Dorothy, who was still angry. "That's why he went over so easily," remarked the lion. "It astonished me to see him whirl around so. Is the other one stuffed also?" "No," said Dorothy, "he's made of tin," and she helped the woodman up again. "That's why he nearly blunted my claws," said the lion. "When they scratched against the tin, it made a cold shiver run down my back." "What is that little animal you are so tender of?" "He's my dog Toto," answered Dorothy. "Is he made of tin or stuffed?" asked the lion. "Neither. He's a meat dog," said the girl. "Oh, he's a curious animal, and seems remarkably small, now that I look at him. No one would think of biting such a little thing, except a coward like me," continued the lion sadly. "What makes you a coward?" asked Dorothy, looking at the great beast in wonder, for he was as big as a small horse. "It's a mystery," replied the lion. "I suppose I was born that way. All the other animals in the forest naturally expect me to be brave, for the lion is everywhere thought to be the king of the beasts. I learned that if I roared very loudly, every living thing was frightened and got out of my way. Whenever I've met a man, I've been awfully scared, but I just roared at him, and he has always run away as fast as he could. If the elephants and tigers and the bears ever tried to fight me, I should have run myself. I am much a coward, but just as soon as they hear me roar, they'll all try to get away from me, and of course I let them go." "But that isn't right. The king of the beasts shouldn't be a coward," said the scarecrow. "I know it," returned the lion, wiping a tear from his eye with the tip of his tail. "It is my greatest sorrow. It makes my life very unhappy. But whenever there's danger, my heart begins to beat fast." "Perhaps you have a heart disease," said the Tin Man. "It may be," said the lion. "If you have," continued the Tin Woodman, "you ought to be glad, for it proves that you have a heart. For my part, I have no heart, so I cannot have a heart disease." "Perhaps," said the lion thoughtfully, "if I had no heart, I should not be a coward." "Have you brains?" asked the scarecrow. "I suppose so. I've never looked to see," replied the lion. "I'm going to the Great Oz to ask him to give me to give me some, remarked the Scarecrow, for my head is stuffed with straw. I'm going to ask him to give me a heart, said the Woodman. And I'm going to ask him to send Toto and me back to Kansas, added Dorothy. Do you think Oz would give me courage? Asked the Cowardly Lion. Just as easily as he could give me brains, said the Scarecrow. Or give me a heart, said the Tin Woodman. Or send me back to Kansas, said Dorothy. Then if you don't mind, I'll go with you, said the Lion, for my life is simply unbearable without courage. You will be very welcome, answered Dorothy. Or you will help to keep away the other wild beasts. It seems to me they must be more cowardly than you are, if they allow you to scare them so easily. They really are, said the Lion. But that doesn't make me any braver. As long as I know myself to be a coward, I shall be unhappy. So, once more, the little company set off upon the journey, the Lion walking with stately strides at Dorothy's side. Toto did not approve this new comrade at first, just like the other ones. For he could not forget how nearly he had been crushed between the lion's great jaws, but after a time he became more at ease, and presently Toto and the Cowardly Lion had grown to be good friends. During the rest of that day there was no other adventure to mar the peace of their journey. Once indeed the Tin Woodman stepped upon the beetle that was crawling along the road and killed the poor little thing. This made the Tin Woodman very unhappy, for he was careful not to hurt any living creature. And as he walked along, he swept over several tears to sorrow and regret. I'm at the point where words can't word anymore. Okay, we only got a little bit left. Can't words. These tears ran slowly down his face and over the hinges of his jaw, and there they rusted. When Dorothy presently asked him a question, the Tin Man could not open his mouth, for his jaws were tightly rusted together. He became greatly frightened at this, and made many motions to Dorothy to relieve him, but she could not understand. The Lion was also puzzled to know what was wrong, but the Scarecrow seized the oil can from Dorothy's basket and oiled the Woodman's jaws, so that after a few moments he could talk as well as before. This will serve me a lesson, he said, to look where I step, for if I should kill another bug or beetle, I should surely cry again, and crying rusts my jaw, so I cannot speak. Thereafter he walked very carefully with his eyes on the road, and when he saw a tiny ant toiling by, he would step over it, so as not to harm it. The Tin Woodman knew very well he had no heart, and therefore he took great care never to be cruel or unkind to anything. You people with hearts, he said, have something to guide you, and need never do wrong. But I have no heart, and so I must be careful. When Oz gives me a heart, of course, I needn't mind so much. Don't know about that one. Alright. reading over. Dang. I read what, for a bit over an hour? Like an hour and a quarter, maybe? We got through 72. I'm on page 72. Well, it says 88, but I didn't read the introduction thing. So it's closer to 72. 72. Let me find where it starts. It starts at page 10, and I was on 88. So 78 pages. That's solid. That's solid for a bit over an hour. I was reading, zooming reading. I hope you enjoyed our little reading segment. Who's DMing me? Why am I getting pings? Oh, people. I posted the food from the other day. Let me put other background sounds on. I posted the food pictures from yesterday. I said the other day. It's literally yesterday. In a couple Discords and one of the servers. Somebody just asked for the jam drop cookie recipe. Deliciousness. I had one last night. I had a big dinner, so I didn't really feel like eating a lot for dessert. Maybe today. We'll see. Maybe I don't know what I'll have today, but maybe a piece of cheesecake or something. I kept some of my food for tonight. That's what I had at when we restarted the stream. I had one of my chicken tenders. What was it? Light, mild. I tried the Dave's hot chicken mozzarella sticks too, and they're pretty good. I feel like I can handle mild now. Mild? Yeah, mild. I'm getting a little bit better with heat, but not like, not amazing with it, but a little better. Not amazing, but better. I put that in my app, my food. I was definitely over yesterday. I'm gonna be over my deficit today too. Probably tomorrow. I gotta do a reset one day. Gotta do a quick fix, but it's fine. I'm definitely going to need to rest my voice after this stream. Because that was a lot. That was a lot of reading. Let me, I don't know if it'll save the page, but I can bookmark it and I'll write page 72, 88 of 312. There we go. I'll save that. For another time. Oh. I've stretched little bits, but I haven't moved a lot in the last while. Man, that's crazy. $548.20 Australian monies in just two days, 2 streams. What was it? Yesterday was 3 hours. Today was like 5 because of the co-working. That's crazy. Myself, I don't feel like I'm not doing anything for it. If I'm honest, like I'm hosting it, but like it's not, that's you guys' money. I don't feel like I'm responsible for that. I'm encouraging it and I'm doing goals, but it's hard to like feel like I'm the one responsible for it, if that makes sense. I don't know if you know what I mean, but it's just, yeah, hard to be like, oh yeah, that's me. Hi Prisma. Yo, look at how many Australian dollars we've raised. $548.20 AUD for Parkinson's Australia. Woo! In 2 days. Right? Hell yeah, brother. Let's fricka go. I have caps on. I'm trying to bookmark. the videos that I had today, in case I want to revisit them. Like later this week. Save those. Save all of those. Put the reading one in there. We just read for about an hour and a quarter. Go through, what did we find? Like 78 pages of where six chapters, 78 pages of The Wizard of Oz. Very chill time just then. We've done co-working, we've done some, watched like 2 or 3 videos. Thank you for the hydrate. And read for a long time. Almost put myself to sleep. That's how cozy it was. I started to get tired. That's not supposed to happen. That's not supposed to be what happens. It's been a good day. I was saying I had a little bit of my baking stuff last night. I had one of my jam drop cookies. Can I put it on screen? Hold on. I'll put the picture of all the food on the screen real quick. Link, save. Oh, why is it? It's trying to be a web link. Hold on. I want this to be a PNG, please. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna put a picture of it, the food that we made on stream yesterday, up on the screen. I did have it saved already. Psh, silly me. Okay, here we go. This is what we made yesterday, right here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that goodness. Deliciousness. Wait, I can put it over here. We made big ol' strawberry cheesecake. We made some chocolate chip cookies and some jam drop cookies. A few peach ones, but mainly strawberry. And they're pretty good. Definitely need to make have some of those. Next time I have some jam drop cookies, I need to make like a good maybe like a Earl Grey tea or just like a Assam tea, like a black tea. That would go perfectly with those cookies. Yeah, people have claimed the whole lot. Sorry, guys. in chats, in like different discords, people have had their orders. A few people are like, I'll just take the lot. Someone said tea. Yeah. Hi, Stalin. I was saying that the jam drop cookies, I had just one last night because I was pretty full. But I think it would go very well. I have Assam tea, like a black tea, and I also have I think some Earl Grey. I think it's Earl Grey that I have. I think that they would go very well with that. Very, very well with some of those teas. And then chocolate chip, chocolate chip just goes well with everything. And cheesecake, you don't even need a drink for cheesecake, so but they're all good. I got a rounded 10 out of 10 from the housemates over my cooking yesterday. I cut it all up, cut the cheesecake up. I have a bunch of it like in the freezer now. And I was like, what do you think? They wanted a sampler plate. One of them wanted a sampler plate. So they got to try everything. I obviously just had like the one thing. And I asked and I was like, what do you rate it? And they're like, everything, 10 out of 10 everything. Everything. Like, thanks. Cool. Sweet. Gave me a little confidence boost. But yeah, I've cut it all up. I divided the cheesecake. I divided up this morning and put in little baggies. I cut it into the 12 pieces, like which is the serving size is 12 slices. Pretty good amount, honestly. And then I put that on a tray last night, all cut up, and froze them so they're all divided up. And I have a container with some of the other cookies, few servings of the cookies and stuff, all fresh and delicious. Nom 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 nom. We'll keep the hydration. Oh, so crazy. We're literally what is it, 52? About 52 Australian dollars right now away from me playing Resident Evil on stream. That's crazy. It's too close, but also not close enough at the same time. So close. But we still got 3 more days. We got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We could do it, right? We can do it in that time. There we go. Now I'm above the hearts. I noticed if I went up, the hearts were like under me, over me. Also, for anyone who hasn't, who wasn't here, I'll show off the. This is the quote unquote a smexy edgy outfit goal that we reached that I'm wearing. I need to make this my default one for the rest of the week, but this will be used. We got some sparkly skirt, nice lace, dark black lace corset, and a long sleeve lace top, under top. Hope you like it. I think it's cute and a little smexy. A little. Too bad there isn't one that makes you play some kind of co-op. Oh gosh. With a friend who gets voluntold to join you. Oh god. I haven't really played. I think it's also because of the time that I stream. It's tricky sometimes to do like co-op anything. Plus, when it comes to like longer games and collabs, I feel like I have a fear of commitment. I'll be honest with you, I have like a fear of commitment with it. I'd have to be if it was like that, I'd have to be nighttime, and I don't think I could really do that. I can't really stream at nighttime. I can here and there, but not like set regular anything. But yeah, I have a fear of like anytime I've done clubs, it's always like a round based game or like a one stream thing. I really do, cause like a while ago, for example, Cranky, actually like last year when I was talking about wanting to do more collabs and stuff, but I hadn't started. He suggested, "Oh, let's play like Stardew Valley or some other random game to kind of, get you a little more used to it." And my brain's like, that's a long game. Like, it's nothing against him, but that's a big commitment of a game, you know? I'm just thinking about like, okay, if this game is insert game is 20, 25, 40 hours, how many streams is that? Long time, long time. Like that's stream for this many hours. That equals like 5-10 weeks. Ugh. That's a lot of weeks, weeks, a lot of weeks. I do not. I'll be honest. I'm personally not a fan of card-based RPG games. So, Slay the Spire is not really my kind of game. If you like that, though, here. If you like those kind of games, am I spelling it wrong? Am I spelling it wrong? Hold on. I'm spelling their name wrong. Oh, I'm writing the and not that. That's my problem. Should check out Looney, who's part of the community and my friend. She's actually playing the first one, Pengus. Been playing the first one lately. So if you like Slay the Spire, he has been actively playing the first one lately. I don't know if she plans to do the other one later or not. I would have to ask. I would have to ask. Oh. Oh, I see as well. Okay. The more you know, the more you know. Okay. I'm gonna wrap up because it's after 2 and my voice is lightly killing me now. I'm gonna find someone. Maybe we'll raid a cooking streamer that I like watching sometimes. Called Pamda. Pamda. It's an IRL streamer. Yo, she's dressed like a shark. Cute. Very cute. Let's go there. Pamda. What is she making? Taco bowls. Big announcement in taco bowls. Yeah, let's go there. I'm gonna wrap up for today though, guys. We're gonna go into Pamda's screen. I can't words. Pamda's stream. I've said too many. I've read too many. I can't word. It is what it is. Thank you again for all the support today. That's crazy. That's crazy and amazing. I will also be looking at, I'll be fulfilling them. I'll make a new channel for the reaction stream stuff and be choosing a few possible drop onesie TikTok dances to do. That's gonna be a thing. But it's gonna be so cringe, but I hope y'all enjoy that, I guess. Let me hide this off the screen. But I will see you guys tomorrow for some more chill shenanigans. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. I'll see how timing goes. I do have something in the morning, pretty early actually, for a few hours. But if I can, I'll try to do the co-working for 2 hours in the morning again, and then normal stuff. Just because I want to give, I want to give as much time as I can especially when it's for charity. Yeah. I will stretch off stream. Have a wonderful rest of your day, though. Y'all are about to get skedaddled. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Thank you again.